Okay, applied Unit 1, Lesson 1, Simple Interest. So we're going to use a formula, interest equals PRT, where interest is your dollars of interest, your principal payment is the dollar amount you start with in your investment. The rate is your percent as a decimal, time in years. You will also see a formula, rate of return, and that is what you get as your interest divided by how much you invested, and then we'll times it by 100 to get a percent. Okay, so number one, Kevin invests $3,500. He wants it to grow to $4,200 in 4 years. So he wants to buy a moped. What's the simple interest rate that'll allow him? Okay, so we know that our principal is that. We know our rate is what we want to know, and we know that 4 is our T. We also actually know our interest. So we got to 4,200 and we started with 3,500, so therefore our interest is 700. Okay, so interest equals P times R times T. So we have that set up. Now we have to isolate R, so we need to divide. Okay, so in my calculator what you would see is 700 divided by, and then brackets. So 5% is the rate that he would need to get there. Okay, 2 people. We have Naveen and Lily. Okay, Naveen is depositing 600 into account, earning 3.5% interest. Lily is doing 700 for principal and 3% as, oops, I should have put an R there, not an I, as her rate. And then we have, who will have more money after 6 months? So time is not 6. You're going to use a 0.5 there. Okay, so we have 600 times 0.035 times 0.5 for PRT. And our PRT for Lily is started with 700 times 3% times a half of a year. Okay, so when I multiply this out, this one comes to 1050. And this one comes to 1050. So that's how much interest they both earned. But who will have more money? So Naveen will have, and then we had 600 to start, and then she gained 1050. So she has 1050, and Lily started with 700 and gained 1050. So Lily has $100 more. Okay, number 3, Paul deposits 900 into a savings, so that's the principal, earns 5%, that's your rate. Simon, 800 and earns 7%, so that's my rate. 1.5 is my time. Okay, so we're trying to figure out the difference of their interest. Okay, so Paul and Simon, PRT, so 900 times my 0.05 rate times 1.5 years. PRT for Simon is 800 invested, earning 7% for 1.5 years. Okay, and if we multiply those out, we end up with $67.50 and $84. So determine the difference in the interest. So Simon earns $16.50 more. Okay, I'm just subtracting those values. Number 4, Roger deposits $400, that's principal, 2% on the rate, and 3 years is the time. Okay, so we can go ahead doing some calculations with Roger. He got $400, earning 2% for 3 years. And Ginger, she deposits $200, so that's principal, earning 4%, and also for 3 years. Okay, so multiplying that, Roger earns $24 of interest, and Ginger earns $24 of interest as well. But the question is asking for rates of return. So Roger got $24 of interest out of his $400 investment. So dividing that, you get 0.06, so that's 6% return on his investment. And Ginger had an investment of $200, so that ends up being 0.12, so 12% return on investment. So Ginger had a higher rate of return, so this is a better investment. Number 5, Wayne has $20,000 he wants to invest. That's a principal, hoping to end up at $35,000. So $35,000 is not part of our formula, but it can help us get our interest. Because he wanted to end that with that and started with that. So he wants to end up with $15,000 of interest. So here's his rate. How long will it take? So we want to know the time. Okay, so interest equals P times the R times T. Oops, that's 20,000. And so we're isolating T here. So we just do a division. And we end up with 16.66666. So since it says to the nearest year, it will take 17 years to get to the amount that he wants. Okay, number 6. The bank is offering a rate of 1.85, 4-year term, so that's our time. What principal would you need to invest if you wanted to have $15,000 at the end? Okay, so this time I don't know my interest or my principal. Okay, but if you look back to what we did here, the interest was the end minus the principal. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to write this formula out. Okay, so our interest is 15,000 minus the principal, which I don't know, equals the principal times the rate times the time. Okay, so now I'm actually going to multiply those two numbers. 4 times 0.0185, so 0.047p. Okay, now I will add 1p. So 15,000 now equals 1.074p. And so that. Now I'm going to isolate p by dividing. Okay, so 15,000 divided by that number. I would have needed to invest 13,966 and 48 cents.